everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm in a new place right now, and the only reason why I switched over is because I'm going to be doing a lot of talking in this video, and I figured you'd have some eye candy. So I moved some bags onto these shelves. I don't know that I'm going to use this as a permanent filming spot. We'll see how it goes, but I did it for now because I'm straightening out this room. But anyway, today I'm going to talk about how people hate on YouTubers and the kind of hate that we get and why people really need to stop and think before they make a comment. So hopefully some of you at least are going to watch this until the end, because I will tell you about my own hate comment that I received, which really isn't so much a hate comment, but mean comments. And I think sometimes people don't always say things just to be mean, but maybe present things in a way that when you're reading comments, you don't really know how to take it. Now, I've gotten very few mean comments, and I thank all of you, my viewers who've been with me since the beginning. I really appreciate that. I've gotten one or two really weird comments that basically I just would see and delete, but they've all been really few and far between. But I did have one person who used to watch my videos and leave kind of sideways comments, and then eventually I just blocked them. So I don't know if they're still watching or not, but I'll get to this at the end. So usually when YouTubers get weird comments, it's around what they've bought, what they've sold, and whether they're returning things or whether they're keeping certain things, whatever. And the bottom line is, first of all, we buy things with our own money. There are very few people that I can imagine would be getting all these bags and someone just gifted them, unless it's a relative. But Louis Vuitton isn't going to give me anything at all, which is a story for another day. But if I go out and if I buy something, and if I don't like it, and if I want to return it, that's really my business. If I decide to sell that thing, it's my business. If I'm going to keep it, it's my business. And nobody who watches should chime in and say that you're wrong for doing that, because you should never be told that you're wrong for doing what you want with your own personal belongings. But I do understand that there is somewhat of an expectation for us to be upfront and honest. And if we are planning to return something, or if we don't like something, to just come out and say we don't like it and it's just not going to work out. Sometimes we know that right away. Sometimes we know that in time. It really all depends on the situation. But there have been a couple of times where I bought something and loved it, and then realized when I went to use it that it just wasn't something that I was really appreciating like I should. There have been a couple of bags, like for instance, and this is before I did YouTube, so you didn't see this bag, but I used to have a Tabby 26. I absolutely love this bag. It was beautiful. It was the Cafe Facette edition with the flowers embossed on it. And it was just gorgeous. But I couldn't fit anything in that bag. And I tried twice to use it, and then eventually said, you know what? I just have to get rid of it, as much as it breaks my heart. I chose the wrong bag. I should have gotten the larger size in that. And I realized then that the Tabby 26 wasn't for me. And I've tried, at different points in time to deal with bags that have, small bags that have a divider in the center, and just wound up not liking them. Now, the Pochette Matisse is a little bit different because that's 3 separate compartments, and the Coach Cassie is set up the same way. I have other bags that are set up in similar ways, but typically if there's one divider in the center, whether it's just a panel or if it's a zip, I hate it and just can't deal with it. But again, I bought it thinking I was going to love it, and then the windup is I didn't love it. I had a Marc Jacobs tote. Again, bought it before YouTube. I'm pretty sure I bought it before YouTube. And I wound up selling that. Not because I didn't love the bag, because I did love the bag. I sold it because I didn't really appreciate the color so much. It was a gorgeous color, but it wasn't for me. It was kind of like a peachy pink. I had it on the vlog sale one time, and I wanted to love it. And I did love the size, and I love the bag itself. And I have the mini, which they used to call the micro tote, over here. And if you watch me, you know that I'm a huge Marc Jacobs fan, especially Marc Jacobs Louis Vuitton era. Where is it at? Over here. I didn't pick these, to go along with my little speech here, but it just so happens. Anyway, it didn't work for me, so I did wind up selling it. And if we do have to sell something, a lot of times, we're not making any money, because you're not going to be able to make a profit unless it's something that's really, really impossible to find, and you have something that's so special that someone's going to be willing to pay more than retail. But on a contemporary bag, or even on a luxury bag, you're going to be lucky to just get your money back. So if we do that, a lot of times, I'm glad. If I sell something, I would just like to make at least close to my money back if I can. And typically when I'm selling something, it's not going to be something that I've used or that I've had for a very long time. Or if I used it, it was just, I put my things in it, or I carried it out once and that's it. But I can't sell that piece for retail. It's not fair. It's just not fair. So yes, I do think that there is value into getting something and realizing that, when you look at it, that you're probably not going to keep it, or that you're disappointed with it, or whatever, and just be honest. Now, one thing that I personally don't like, and I think is in really bad taste, is when you get something for free from a company, a sponsor, whoever, and then turn around and sell that item. I mean, it's one thing if you gift it to somebody, that it's yours and it's a gift. But I do think that it's in bad taste to get a gift and then turn around and sell a gift. So that's something that I wouldn't do. And I don't really know of people doing that. But, that's a completely different situation. And, if it's something that was gifted to you, you can certainly go ahead and regift it. But I think to try to sell it to people who know you received it as a gift, that gets a little bit hairy. But again, I don't know anyone who's done that. But, I could see a situation like that coming up, and I would be, not really happy about that. But something that I bought myself, oh, hell no. It's mine, and I'm going to do whatever I want with it. So getting on to the money topic, a lot of people seem to feel, for whatever reason, that certain professions or certain people, certain things that you do, you should not be compensated for them. And I'm talking about YouTube, but there are also professions that people do where the expectation seems to be that you're going to do that job just for the joy of doing it. I was a teacher for several years, and I worked in direct social service for a lot of years. I still work in the field in a way, but I don't do any kind of direct service work. And when I was teaching, it was more or less, and I taught in a Catholic school. The concept was, well, you're a teacher and you're teaching in Catholic school, and, you should be teaching because these children are grateful to be here and you're influencing so many lives. And yes, I really enjoyed working with the kids, and I hope that they took something away when they left my classroom. But the reason why I left teaching is because it was impossible to pay for anything at all. I didn't have money to pay for classroom decorations. And I had a principal who would basically put me down because I didn't have elaborate enough decorations in my class. And I had to do that all out of pocket. And I remember this was in 1992-ish. My pay was $225 a week, clear. And that was if you opted to be paid during the summer. Now, even in 1992 money, that was just like poverty pay. Seriously. I mean, there's no way. I couldn't afford anything. I barely could afford car insurance, and I didn't have a car, and I didn't drive at that time. But the concept was, well, you're not doing it for the money, you're doing it because you're influencing children. But even today, if you're working in a public school, people have years and years of knowledge that they've obtained and that they've paid for in order to go out to a school and impart that knowledge on the children that they're teaching, and to have them in a classroom for 6.5 hours a day, and then to go home or to stay after school and grade papers for hours. You're never really done, even when it's, a day that the kids are off. A lot of times it's an in-service day for teachers. So you're working through all of that time, and you're expected to not call in sick. You do get vacation when school is on break, but it's not like you can wake up in the morning unless you really just can't make it out of bed and call up because the school gets stuck. They have to call a substitute, and it costs them even more money to pay the substitute for the day because they have to pay you for the sick day and they have to pay the substitute. So the whole concept that, teachers aren't really worth any money, but the CEO of a bank gets paid for talent, and he can make, very high six figures, and nobody bats an eye out of it. You don't want to pay teachers, but everybody who is into luxury and watches luxury channels has no qualms about going into Louis Vuitton or to Dior and dropping money that's going into Bernard Arnault's pocket, because he's profiting off of that more than anyone else. He's the richest man in the world right now. And yes, I believe he is richer than Elon Musk and Bill Gates. So there's that. And who's the other one? Oh, Jeff Bezos. Yeah, but Arnault, I believe, and his family are the richest family in the world. And you could bet that the people working in the boutiques aren't making nearly that much money. The same goes when I was teaching and when I was in social work. I was very fortunate enough to have a very good social work position with a municipal agency, and I was paid very commensurate with my experience and my education, and was able to make a living, which I'm eternally grateful for. But I know that there are people who work in the social service industry who barely can pay their bills. I mean, they could barely make it to the store and put food on the table. And, God forbid if it's a single woman that has a family, it's just impossible because they really don't make much at all. But there's that notion that, well, you're helping people, and the joy that you get from helping people should be pay in itself. And, that person who's doing it for the joy got at least a bachelor's degree. And I remember when I was in social work and I was getting my first evaluation after I had finished training and was in my position for 3 months. It was the initial 3-month eval, and then there was the 6-month eval. So this was the 6-month eval. And a good friend of mine at the time had said to me, well, I don't know what you're worried about. You have a degree. And I said, and so what? And he's like, well, you have a degree, and, your coworkers, well, they probably don't. And I said, do you not realize that you need minimum of a bachelor's degree in order to do this work? It's not something that you're going to be able to just walk in from the street and get a job where you're working with children and families in this kind of concept where you're navigating other systems to get them services. And, the response that I got was, well, you work with people. And I said, well, a doctor works with people, don't they? I mean, a surgeon works with people. So the mindset is just really weird. And that mindset applies to YouTube, where it seems like there are a lot of people who get insulted if YouTubers make money. And we do make money from ads after you hit a certain number of subscribers. And of course, everybody wants more subscribers. I'm no exception to that. I mean, I would certainly love to have people to subscribe to my channel more and more so that my channel can grow. My motivation isn't exclusive to making money, although I would certainly love to make money so that I could continue to buy more items to share with you all on my channel. But I like to share my knowledge, my 20 plus years of knowledge, buying and being involved with selling to an extent of luxury goods, and my knowledge of these fashion houses. I didn't start when YouTube first came on. There was no YouTube. There was barely an internet. So my background is completely different from other people who started to buy once they saw a bunch of videos, because I didn't even know luxury YouTube existed before 2016, I guess it was. But anyway, I mean, if you watch a TV show or if you pay for concert tickets, that's a lot of money that you're putting out every month. I mean, I know my cable bill is over $200, and I don't resent someone who's working on one of the series that I watch or in a movie that I watch making money, or the cable company for making money for providing me that service. I'm getting entertained. I'm getting knowledge sometimes. So why should it be any different if you tune into somebody for 20 minutes a week and they're entertaining you and informing you and also are making money on their channel? Now, I don't do this personally because I don't have the time to do it, quite honestly, but I know a lot of channels that have Patreon accounts. And even though the person may have a luxury YouTube channel, if you wanted something special, say I specialized in styling, or if I had, spots that I went to particularly where I got deals, or when certain things come up, things that are above and beyond what I would do on my normal channel. If you wanted me to help you style yourself or to give makeup tips or something like that, what would be wrong with charging for a lesson, a makeup lesson, a private makeup lesson, $10, or to recommend products for $5? If I have the knowledge and if I'm taking my time, how is that wrong? How is that something that's, not appealing or appalling? Really, some people find that stuff to be appalling. Nobody's begging, nobody's asking to be handed things, because I don't believe that people should be handed things, and I've never been handed anything. But if you're working, if you're doing something, whether it's something that you love or if it's something that you have to do, if you're putting in your time and if you're using your skills, there's no wrong in wanting to be compensated for that. So I really just don't get it. And some other comments that I've heard, other people have talked about how they don't like bag walls. They don't like when people don't have a bag wall, which I do most of the times. Oh, they like people that are really natural. And then they'll say, oh, well, she's not polished enough. So I don't think that there's any perfect world where somebody's going to watch any of our channels and find that we're perfect in every way. There's always going to be a complaint. And speaking of a complaint, let me tell you about the one comment that I got, the one mean comment, and why it irritated me so much. So I don't even remember what the video was about, but whatever the video was about, the comment that the person left me was, have you tried semaglutide? And if you don't know what that is, that's the ingredient in, I think, Wegovy and Ozempic that help curb your appetite or do whatever to make you lose weight. So first of all, it was a handbag video or a makeup video. So how that factored into anything that I said was just totally beyond my comprehension. But to tell somebody who, and guys, let's face it, I know I'm not skinny, but I do think that I'm a pretty average sized person. But to tell somebody that they need to or should look into a weight loss injection is just insane. And a lot of my regular viewers know that I was treated for cancer. I had chemotherapy, I had radiation. And if you think that taking some kind of a shot just to lose weight is something that I want to do at this point, you got to be nuts, because there's no way that I would get involved with that. The last thing in the world that I care about is how skinny I am at my age and with what I went through. I've talked about my rheumatoid arthritis. I have to take medication for that and was on steroids for years. Something else that I mentioned on my channel. But when you make comments like that, you don't always know what that person is going through. You don't know the person's medical history. You don't know what they're going through or what they've tried and what they haven't tried, or even if they have taken or are taking some kind of a medicine to assist with weight loss. And believe me, I think it's great if you want to take control and if you have certain health conditions that may necessitate you going on any of these medicines, by all means, do it. I mean, if your doctor recommends it, that's just fine. I had a friend who had gastric bypass years ago, and it was the best decision that she made for herself. And certainly, I would never hold it against someone who wanted to do a procedure or take something in order to make themselves feel better. But to offer unsolicited advice like that to somebody who's really a perfect stranger, who's never mentioned any kind of a desire or uncomfortableness with themselves, I thought was just beyond mean and cruel. And this person's left some sideways comments, let's say, on my videos previously, where, you can tell that somebody's being insulting, but they're not really coming out and, going all the way. It's just little digs here and there. So yeah, that comment I fired back and told the person off and then just blocked them, because I'm not going to frustrate myself and I'm not going to, have an open argument with other people for that. But, any comments that people have that are constructive comments, if you know something that I don't know, if you want to give me information that I don't have, I love and appreciate it, guys. And I love all the sweet things that I am fortunate enough to hear. I really, really do. And I know when people make those kind of comments, they're doing it out of the goodness of their hearts because they mean it, and not because they're trying to make themselves look special or, expect anything in return. I really, really appreciate it, guys. So that's my little rant for the day. This is a collaboration with Cami of Cami's Closet, and I think I just ran right into this. So I didn't mention it earlier, so I'm going to leave a link to Cami's video below, and I will pin a comment in under the comments as well, and you could head over to Cami and see what Cami says. So I think both of us are really very natural and kind of tell it as it is. Some people aren't that way or don't feel comfortable, but we're Northeast girls. What can I say? We just kind of lay it on the line and just let it fly. So I hope to see you again soon. If you are new here, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe, give this video a like, and hit the notification bell so you will be notified of my next video. I have some cool stuff coming up. See you soon. Bye-bye.